Islam, to me, is a religion, a way of life that is uh, revealed or guided by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to all men and jinn, or unseen to us. I mean, it's very hard for unbelievers to see what they mean by jinn.
Well, it's part of my identity. Like, when I was a kid, my mom used to ask, what are you? Who are you? And before any nationalistic identity or anything like that, it's always Muslim first. It's something that's ingrained in us, and I think it will be ingrained in my children and their children too. It always comes before anything else. Well, in terms like nationalistic identity or anything like that.
I would love to use this slang. It's a manual for how to use this world. Like, especially when environmentalists, they're trying to say, oh, let's save the world. This is the way how to use the world properly, not just to save it environmentally, but also whatever, every individual, whether it's a human or a tree or an animal in general, and an entire universe.
For me personally, like now that I'm thinking about it, Islam, I mean, yeah, it's a religion obviously, but personally for me, it's very much related to my culture.
For me, Islam is a personal way of life. I mean, for a lot of people, just saying that you're a Muslim, on the outside it can just look like, oh, I'm a Muslim, but for me, it comes off as, well, I'm a Muslim, so what do I believe, right? And it's that inner belief inside that dictates your life in a lot of ways. Different people around the world, I mean, there's billions of Muslims now, a couple billion, and they practice Islam in different ways. But I think the fundamental thing that people follow is, what's that inside belief? The belief in the oneness of God, the belief in justice, the belief in service to humanity.
So when I think of Islam, in one way I think of it in the sense of like human rights violations happening in Iran and just lack of freedom, censorship, all those kinds of things.
I think the basics of everything is the civil war itself. In the USSR's invasion first. I was young, I didn't know anything. Usually when people migrate down to the West, it's not because they wanted to just, they love to come here. It's just because they have no source of income back home. And they think, okay, if I send one of my kids back to the West working for us, and then it's a source of income for them to do their livelihood. I was like going to high school, I didn't know why I'm going to high school. Like, what's the point? So, okay, there's no university. Okay, let's say there's a university, a private university. What if I just get a degree, a PhD? What should I do? I can't do anything. So there was a hopelessness, a blank, a dark hole that I'm running, and I don't know where is the light. So I said, okay, the best way for me, where I could practice my religion and have this kind of freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and as well as a hope where I can work, where I can give a hope to my family.
It's really difficult. It's difficult going from, a country where you have total freedom, you can do whatever you want. You can go walk around naked, and, well, I think that's kind of illegal, but you can just, whatever, in general, you can do whatever you want. And then you go to a country where you feel at home because it's, it's your people, but you have absolutely no freedom whatsoever. And it's like, you don't really even want to go in the streets because it's like, why do I have to wear this on my head? Especially for me, like, I'm such a open person, I'm so the opposite of what they're trying to enforce on people. So for me personally, it was extremely difficult. Walking in the street and the guys there, just they follow you, and it's like, go away. They're not, well, like, personally, like, I have piercings and stuff. I got a lot of comments about that when I was walking the streets and stuff. One time someone said, why do you have a nail in your face? I just think that the whole issue of Iran, human rights, it's so ridiculous. It angers me so much, honestly. To think that, 15-year-old boys get hanged for being gay, and then our president will come out and say, we don't have any gay people, like, please.
When people think of Pakistan, they think of this place like Iran, actually. They think of it like, women have to wear the hijab there, and, wear the abaya, and, they have to be very, very concerned when they leave the house. Because it's an Islamic republic, they have their own perceptions of it. The interesting thing is some of the girls in Pakistan are a little bit more, they call it modern than I am. It's really interesting because when I was going to Pakistan, a lot of people asked me, oh, so will you have to wear the hijab there? Will you have to cover your hair? Or, not once did I ever cover my hair leaving the house. Dubai, I also have gone to Dubai, and that's also an Islamic country, but you never would have known unless you actually would have, it's an Islamic country, but you can't tell when you're there. It seems like another LA or Miami. I've also been to Turkey, which is another Muslim country, and it's a society that you wouldn't even be able to tell that it's a Muslim country. It's like another Western society. But like I said again, they have elements of Muslim life there. So, you can't think of Muslim countries or Islam in one generalized way. Even looking at countries, everyone is different, and you can't think all of them are really strict republics.